You get high in this corner.
I think I'm dead sooner than I can.
Yes, yeah, come on over.
Okay, y'all ready for this?
Just talk over.
Well, what ball?
Last 2 weeks ago, we submitted a sunshine request to the city. We did get a reply, not much of a reply, but we did get a reply. Some of you have Facebook, some of you don't. From Scott Summers, the attorney in Cahokia, from representing the city of Gorin, and Teresa Norton, stating that our board members are Ms. Norton, Frank Nicholson, Britt Crawford, Katie Lamb, and a Glenn Davis, that our baseball fund has $218 in it, and that is in the general fund, and that the city doesn't own a copier, and that they needed specifically what else we wanted. They didn't know what account holdings were or equipment it was.
But
So I did send them back another sunshine request.
the other note on that is we're not sure whether that is city attorney or if
It
that
states
is.
that it is her attorney. the
That's what I was
city's
gonna
attorney.
say, that's a conflict of interest, you can't do both.
Yeah.
Are we paying for that?
I'm assuming that the city is paying for that because he responded to the Gorin sunshine request.
Well, how much of an attorney?
Isn't there something on Facebook where she says it's her lawyer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not quite clear whether that is city attorney or if that's her
Yeah,
attorney.
it can't be both.
So I sent them another sunshine request on the 13th, so I haven't heard back.
What?
How many days is it to reply to sunshine law?
72 hours.
3. So I sent them another one on the 13th. I did not get a reply.
And in that first one, I didn't see where it actually said for an extension.
It didn't. It just asked for a reply, for more information. So I did send them another one, but I did not get a reply. And that was on the 13th. We also sent a request.
Becky, there ain't no bathroom back there.
To the Missouri Auditor's Office about our COVID funds. And we did find out that we got 4 separate COVID checks in the amount of $6,810 and $9,282 on January 12th of 22, August 17th of 22, and the other 2 were in 23 in January and August. So if anybody wants to read through any of this, we can pass them around.
What,
Yes.
you didn't make copies of it for everybody?
No, if you want copies, I would make you copies, Doc.
You can take one.
Okay, you're talking to Doc, you're gonna have him take pictures for you. Just telling you.
So what have you come up with a total so far in the last couple of years since there's been no meetings that she's gotten?
Well, this is just COVID funds at the moment. I also sent a sunshine request to the APR, and they also confirmed that yes, we got COVID funds.
What is APR?
The American Rescue Plan Act.
Okay.
And I sent a sunshine request to the Department of Revenue about our gas tax, but that was on the 15th, and I have not gotten a response yet. But again, they have 3 business days, so. I sent a sunshine request to the Northeast Missouri Planning Commission because Teresa said that we did not get COVID funds, it was a grant. I did get an immediate response from them that they assisted her with applying for the COVID funds. And then I also gave a sunshine request to our county clerk and the tax office and got all of the records back to 2019 on how much money we get from the tax office and our election results from the county clerk. So, from the tax office, from the county, I have all of that, which you can pass around and see what we get from the railroad and the utility tax and our surtax, which comes from our businesses in 19, 20, 21, 22, and so far for 23 and 24. And I have those totals for, no, sorry, I did 20, 21, 22, 23, and so far for 24. And in 20, that was $7,873.38. In 21, that was $8,007.07. 22, that was $8,363, or sorry, $8,300.63. 23, that was $9,080.52, and so far for 24, it's been $7,706.99. And that's our taxes, and then our railroad money, utilities, surtax, railroad surtax, utility surtax, and then our delinquency surtax.
What was the grand total?
I did not add that up as a grand total. I can real quick if you want.
Becky said her, she said.
I don't have my phone.
Well,
Right there.
I was gonna say, I have
It's
a
fine.
phone here.
It's fine, it's fine.
Yes, I thought there's a calculator there somewhere.
Cause you posted all
Sounds
that
like a
on.
big
I
one.
did post all of it,
Well, and
and
on the
there's two
railroad,
copies of those if you
every
wanna
year
pass them
that
down to
they
the other
pay,
table.
they add they add another.
What's behind the paper clips is monthly.
But that's also each quarter that they
Eric.
pay, each quarter.
We'll keep all that set together, cause if you take it apart, it's
Is
gonna
there
be
any
massive.
gas tax or anything included in that?
Huh?
Is it-
Gas tax is not in that. I have not heard back on what our gas tax is.
I was wondering.
Yeah. But then I also got,
Is the sales tax on our on our vehicles, is that in there? Is
Yes.
that with the gas tax?
no, that's in there.
Okay. Is that usually
But
a pretty sizable tax?
What our fire department gets comes out of that,
Right.
and I don't know what that is yet. I did reach out to our clerk at the fire department, but I haven't heard back yet. I left her a couple messages. I think I'm just gonna have to put it on the case office. Cause that is, her name just escaped me. Maureen.
Maureen, yeah, that's.
Yeah. So, but I also got our election results for the last few years, and we were not on the 2019 ballot at all. Didn't file to be on it for some reason. And in 19, Frank ran, and I was written in, but I was told I wasn't allowed to be on the board. And still don't know why. Apparently.
Is that because you, related to Donnie when he was on the board?
Actually, that's not a stipulation. I looked it up. You can be related to somebody on the board. It doesn't matter. Then in 21, Teresa was elected mayor. She ran, and Westward Alderman was a write-in, but I don't know who it was, and Donnie ran or East Ward Alderman was written in, and Donnie ran as Westward Alderman. And we were not,
And was elected.
yeah, and he was elected, and there was nobody on the ballot for 22, and 23, Teresa ran and was elected. Jamie Scott was on the ballot and didn't know it. I've talked to her several times. And Andrea Davis was written in and says she did not accept the position. The courthouse says she did. So,
Interesting.
which is the question I was asking before, because we've all seen the post several times where Frank says he's been on the board for 11 years. He hasn't
Yes.
been on the ballot since 2020. It's a 2-year term. His term was up 2 years ago. He didn't rerun.
And Andrea kept saying that she stepped down, but the paperwork was never,
It wasn't accepted.
because she was tired of no meetings, so.
Which
she
Donnie
wanted
also
out.
stepped down, but because according to what we were told at the clerk's office and the extension office, because there wasn't a public meeting after they gave the resignations for the board to accept their resignations and have somebody fill in for them, they're still legally board members. They're just not liable for anything Teresa's done as mayor after that.
So according to the courthouse, it's Donnie, Jamie, Andrea,
And Frank,
But
even
he
though
wasn't
his
on the
term,
ballot.
even though his term ended in 22, there hasn't been a legal meeting since 2020.
Yeah.
Since pre-COVID.
Because of COVID.
Yeah. Well, February of
That's one way to keep
2020.
your job.
Yeah.
Where'd these other board members come from that some of us have never even heard of? And they've never been on a ballot?
I've
Glenn
kind of
Davis?
decided that Glenn Davis is her imaginary friend. Mm-hmm.
One of them. One of
We
them.
talked about this.
Yes, and you're still putting it down as one. We got the newspaper here, you gotta be honest and truthful.
I am.
Okay. That's not probably one of her imaginary friends, it's probably one of.
Gotta stay with the facts.
Becky and I
Facts.
filed an audit petition on February 12th. So we are waiting on the paperwork to come back
You filed it when?
February 12th.
Okay.
So we have to wait on them to send back the paperwork, and we will know the amount that the audit will cost, and we'll get the paperwork to collect signatures for the petition.
You need how many?
We need 25% of the registered voters that voted in the last election.
Is that
Which-
just in the city limits?
Yes, which was, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure it was 14. 14. So 25% of 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can get that in this room. We're good.
Yeah,
3.5 people.
3.5 people
yeah.
Ross
to
goes
sign the
half.
petition up.
What day did you,
We filed that on the 12th.
Well, and when we talked to that lady on that petition, on getting signatures, all you have to be is a landowner, so
No, you only have to be a registered voter. To fill out the paperwork, you needed to be a registered voter and a landowner.
So you need to be both.
You needed to be both. Becky and I got it covered.
But to sign it, all you had to do is be a
You're-
property owner.
No, to sign it, you need to be a
You're
registered
registered
voter,
voter.
not a landowner. And that was Mary with the state auditor's office.
did they say anything about who pays for the audit? Did they?
That will be the city, and it goes by percentage of the city's holdings and the population.
So not much.
Yeah, not much. And there was a question at the last meeting about the last audit. And when she looked it up, it was sometime in the 1930s.
So there wasn't one recent couple of years.
No, in 2021, the state did an investigation, and I have that. And what,
It was because of Puppy Charlie.
yes, if you have Facebook, you've seen this paperwork, but this is what the city submitted. Just flip through them, Doc. You're gonna be real impressed, because I'm very sure your bookwork looks better than that.
Oh, that was all the hands?
Yes, all the handwritten stuff. So,
Well, who's that from?
well, that's from Teresa and Ginger.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Just that's.
Yes.
Yeah, she was secretary for a while down there.
Well, except she was fired about a year before that. So, not real sure why that was sent from her.
Why was she fired? I
She
didn't think-
was, when it changed to her being mayor, Teresa threw a big fit about the books not being straight and checks missing and not being wrote in a checkbook. So at that point in time, we just voted as a board to dismiss her as being the secretary.
And they were supposed to put in an ad to hire a new secretary then.
But then there's another thing, if they would actually find the city rule book, which has disappeared, the city clerk's supposed to be elected.
So,
But
'Cause I used to be city
So
clerk
there's
back when we
been
had the
no
book.
treasurer or anything since then?
since
Right.
then, and 6 months after we voted to vote Ginger off as secretary, Ginger was still doing paperwork, still writing checks, and the board had asked the mayor several times why she was still there. And she said because she wanted her there until she felt that the paperwork was straight, and denied the board's vote.
What year was that?
19?
That was in 19, and the first of 2020, she was still there. And that's when.
She's been there more recently than that. Since I've been in there. Since she's had no.
Flip.
You might wanna pass those down. Which brings also to question, I don't know which account it is, but at least one of the city checkbooks requires 2 signatures.
They used to all require 2 signatures.
I thought anytime any check you run through a city, that would be two, the mayors and.
Yeah.
somebody on
It
the
used,
board.
it used to be the mayor and the city clerk.
We also filed a nepotism complaint through the county,
What?
nepotism complaint.
They bring their relatives.
Okay, I know that's a really big word, Doc. Nepotism means you cannot only hire your family or hire your family at all if you have a job in the government. In this case, government anyhow, or if you're a government employee. And Teresa thinks that only her husband and son can work for the city. And it doesn't work that way.
Well, what do you think come of paying $26 an hour? No.
Who's doing that?
Well, I guess that's not her husband or her son, that's Britt.
He's getting paid $26 an hour?
Well, that's what he says anyhow, and he's on the board, so.
Wow.
Not hiring him to make that.
Right? So, we filed that with April Wilson. And, we also filed that with the Missouri Ethnics Commission.
I don't know if there is a big deal about that with the fact that the community, you know, is a small community and there's not that.
Well, it is a big deal if her son's the only one plowing the snow.
Okay,
And
I
is
mean-
not
day, every
doing
night?
it. And is not doing it.
Well, he did plow the streets. I witnessed him out there, other people have witnessed him out there. The problem was, not that he didn't plow the streets, that he only made the one pass and didn't widen it out
He
and
didn't
do it.
clear the street.
He
The
did
day
not.
after
And he
the
didn't,
first
Correct.
storm.
he didn't plow
The
that
day
into mine at all
after the
between me and
first
Paul, and that's the only way I can get in.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that would be the job.
but that's what I'm saying, we gotta be careful what we say, because we have to say it like it truly is. He
Yeah.
did plow the street, he just done it unprofessional and
Unethical.
Unsatisfied.
There was 3 storms, and he did it the day after the first storm.
The first one, and that
That
was
after
was
the
the
county
only
went
one
through and
that
opened him
he-
up, actually.
But I called an ambulance and EMTs got stuck. Then they had to get the EMTs out of the way before they could get the ambulance in.
She brought that up to me complaining that the guy's four-wheel drive in his pickup wasn't working, that's why he got stuck, and that's what's the big problem with. But it shouldn't be a big problem.
You shouldn't,
She ought to be able to get around with her car as a two-wheel drive vehicle, especially the day after the storm.
And other people had offered to come in and blade the streets. The Mennonite that bladed us out and opened our street said that he had called her and offered to do it because he had a big Magnum International to do it with a front end loader and a blade, and she told him absolutely not, that he was to stay off our streets.
Well,
I witnessed him myself call her and ask.
In the meantime, she was put out of state.
Yes, she was still out of
Well,
state.
we can't argue about that because she was down there because her son, or her
I
brother
know.
was sick or something. I understand that. But the problem was she left
She could
nobody in control that could do what had to be done with it.
She's supposed to have a board
I understand that.
for that purpose.
I understand that, but I just want
Somebody's gotta
the
be in
paper to
charge.
understand, you know. We know she was out of town because of a family
Right.
medical. But being the mayor and being in control, and it's her responsibility, if she can't get the streets clean because the plow truck is broke down and stuff like that, it's her responsibility to figure out what the next step
Call the
is.
county.
I want to be.
I'm trying to make it right for this young lady over here so we don't get in trouble.
We're good, Doc. But anyhow, the question is where do we wanna go from here?
Where do we wanna go from here? I want the streets cleaned and taken care of. I want stuff cleaned up.
You don't want a $20 check to balance either.
Right.
Plus, I've got 2 checks out, and I asked Teresa about it, and one of them was from last August. And she says, oh, Frank has that envelope, it's all good. Is he carrying around all of his personal checks that doesn't take the trash?
I got a
We still-
personal check out there, it's been out there 6 months now.
Yeah, I see mine has been.
Ours has been out since January. I'm not giving her another one. I mean, last January,
Yeah, she's got
23.
2 on
You
me.
don't have to worry about that one.
The dumpster's not dumped.
You don't have to worry about that one because after 6 months on a personal check, they're no good.
Exactly.
So. I think it's a year on other checks, but on a
But
personal check.
what
it's
else
like-
does Frank have in his envelope? And why weren't they deposited?
Because there's only one person that can run the whole show, and she can't handle all the work.
Well, and I called Bruce Parsons before the meeting this evening. He would have liked to have been here because he does own tags up here, and it is a business, $1 million business. He has talked to all of our commissioners. They agreed that they're gonna bring the county in here and at least get them streets cleaned up, bladed, and see what they can do with the rest of them. But as of right now, that corner of town will be bladed and rocked for their business.
Yeah,
to be able
Bruce
to
is
get
going to
trucks.
pay rock for the northwest corner because his customers are complaining.
That's over here.
Yeah, 'cause they get-
Oh, northeast, or northeast corner, sorry.
Well, that's like over
We-
the
Rocks are getting special treatment.
No, sorry, that's us getting the special treatment.
That's like over by Paul Tags
We could use
and
some
docks.
special treatment.
If they don't fix the ditches first, any gravel they put on that road's not gonna stay, it's just gonna wash right across the road.
I had brought that up the last time I.
Yeah,
we
Echo
talked
was
about
very
putting
surprised to
gravel.
find out that was Main Street.
Yeah, I live on
That
Main
road
Street.
won't
I know.
hold gravel.
They didn't, that's the one they didn't do anything to.
I know.
Absolutely
This is the one
nothing
that never got bladed.
at all.
But
All the streets.
April's suggestion was that we file a complaint with the Attorney General's office
I'd really hate to see what that
because
throw out.
that's where we need to go from here. Because we don't have an active board and we have a one-woman show that needs to be removed.
And they would investigate her.
They would
and-
investigate her, and once we file a complaint, they would advise us where to go from there.
Well,
What's
and
that gonna cost?
when,
No, we just file a complaint with the Attorney General's office, and that will cost us nothing, and
when they done the investigation the last time, they asked the mayor about doing an audit then. And at that point in time, because they asked the mayor and didn't have, signatures and all that to do an audit, they refused an audit, and that's where they had to stop.
Yes, you've been telling everybody that they done an audit.
and that's what we're doing now. because they either have to have permission from the city or a petition on it.
Where we got to? Where we got to?
How much, the city do they have to
Are
have?
you guys not paying attention?
That was the 25% of the voters, which is the 3.5 people.
3.5 people,
You
you,
just
me,
sign
and
it.
Becky can sign it.
Yep. Oh,
I'll
and
sign it too.
Right.
That'll make us over.
Yeah. If we
Now,
get Donnie and Doc to sign it, we're good.
it
Bill
will,
can sign it. Bill thinks we got all kinds of people.
So the sunshine law and Mr.
actually, you
Summers.
can't, because you're.
So we need to
registered.
clarify, is he the city attorney or Teresa's attorney? Because
Yeah,
he can't be both.
because you pay taxes.
And then
towards
when are
law.
we getting these documents?
Right.
Because isn't there a fine if they don't comply by a certain time?
The 3 days, and then you can file a complaint with the prosecutor's office and the Ethics Commission and,
The AG.
oh, yeah.
Well, basically what
Attorney
she's
General's
gonna do-
office, we can include it in there. Oh, yeah, sorry, ethics, sorry, I did say ethics, sorry.
But at this point, the Attorney General is bringing in state marshals in on it. They wanna see how far this is going and how long. But the audit will cost a little bit of money. They said probably 10 to 15% of whatever's in, I think it's the general funds account.
Yeah, it's not,
So if there's $100 in there,
yeah,
or
$10.
what, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but we need to find where all the money's gone and.
Unless they wait and do it after they find all the money.
but she did say if the accounts are totally drained, it won't cost us a penny, that they'll just go ahead and do the
It
audit.
will be probably December or January.
So
Don't
what
it's
matter.
happens now, it's like she's not answering anybody, nobody can get in City Hall, she's not talking to anybody, she's trying to move. What happens in a week or two when she's moved and out of Gorin?
She moved out of city limits, doesn't that mean she?
If she moves
Do
out
we
of,
have to have an election, do we?
somebody can actually stand in, according to what I read on the board. If she moves out of town, that's, once she's out of city limits and no longer getting mail here, she's automatically dismissed herself as mayor.
What's that?
So,
Does that
and
mean
we
which
know
department?
that's gonna happen in a.
Which department does she has to move out of?
But that's where somebody, once we have the keys and everything, then somebody can step up as a mayor, and then we can declare that we need an emergency election through the courthouse, and then that's
That's also
when,
something we have to pay for, the city has to pay for, but which we have to find out we have to pay money for.
Well, there's another issue too, which is kind of a side issue. The flags that we use at the cemetery on holidays
Or in
are
City Hall.
in there, and they wanna know how they're gonna get them out when they set them, if she's got everybody locked out. And actually, Cecil is gonna, make a place for them in his garage, we can get possession of them,
That would probably be a good idea.
yeah. Cause they belong to the cemetery.
And did you get a list yet of like equipment and like why the
I
truck
asked
is
for
sitting
one.
at her house and?
But
So what about the equipment that's stored in the building down there?
I don't have a list. I asked for a list of equipment that the city owns. I did see that the blade that was gone from City Hall is now back beside the building.
but yet we have not seen the little brush hog that goes on the John Deere that was bought.
It's not
When?
back yet unless they put it in the building.
Cause there ought to be the regular 3-point blade, there should be a little brush hog, the blade
Isn't
that's
that in the pickup?
on
Yeah, not to
tractor
mention the
now.
pickup's not there.
And there's one other
It's
piece of
still sitting
equipment,
over
I
by
just
the
ain't,
apartment?
I can't remember what it was.
Why are you so cold?
Oh, no, I just shake it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But thank you for the concern.
Well, it begins like maybe Dorothy sitting that close to you, had you scared or something there, you know?
She ain't scared of me.
And something, I brought
Well,
it
I didn't
up,
want her, I
to
didn't
a
want her to
few.
admit she might be scared of me, you know, they say I'm threatening everybody.
a year ago, they hauled a little international tractor with a belly mower in 2 John Deere riding mowers in and another piece of equipment in. I'm not sure whether the city paid for that or where the funds come for that. But what I was told when it was hauled in, that it was for the city, but it is now in her brother's possession and he has it on Marketplace for sale. But like I said, I can't verify that the city did buy it because it's hearsay. But like I said, that tractor is up for sale right now.
Anything about it.
Sure we could.
But how does she pay for
If she,
it? With cash?
if she paid for equipment,
If she wrote a check, but if she used the cash that's supposed to go for garbage, no.
Oh, that was another question we had, is can we get the bank records from the bank?
yeah.
Should be able to, I think that'd be part of the audit.
Well, can a legal board member just go to the bank and ask for records?
I don't know.
That'd be about the point.
Echo?
Possibly if they're on the account.
But is there anybody on the account but her?
Bank records are public documents, so once bank statements, you can sunshine request bank statements going back as far as you want
As long as they're for the city.
to the city.
Okay, that's what we didn't know.
Um,
Am I hearing right that they've got 2 accounts now?
Yes.
Yeah, because we used to only have one.
I know that because when Craig was weeding for them summer before that, she wrote him checks off 2 separate accounts with 2 separate checkbooks. One required 2 signatures, one required 1, and the bank wouldn't cash either check, and she ended up giving him cash.
In other words, checks bounced.
No, they just wouldn't, they didn't tell me that there weren't funds, they just wouldn't cash either check. And that was the last time she let him weed. The one she said required 2 signatures, the next check they just wouldn't cash.
I think it had 2 signatures on it.
No, it was a single signature check.
You should have deposited and let them run NSF or something.
Yeah.
Then they would have known if there was funds or not.
Yeah, no, they just wouldn't. And it wasn't our bank, it was the bank for
Well,
the
what
city.
he's saying is we should have just deposited it
In your account.
our
Yeah.
account.
Yeah, which I didn't even think about then, I was just, kid wanted his check cashed, and we took it to their bank, and,
what bank was that?
Bank of Kirksville in Memphis, well, Bank of Memphis.
No, I don't think.
Well, okay, it's not that
Equity.
anymore. What?
Equity or something like that now.
Yep, it wasn't then.
No, it is now.
What's it called now?
Equity
Equity.
Bank.
Where?
Bank of Kirksville got bought out.
Changed to Equity Bank?
They just sold out here, what, 4 years ago, something like that?
So, I do believe that's everything on my list.
And were those checks cashed, those COVID checks, were they cashed or?
2 were paper checks, 2 were direct deposits.
Okay, so
And they were sent to City Hall, and, I do have that. Because she was very, very adamant that she did not apply for or, request any of that. So I asked for the documents. They have her signature on it where she applied for, pass that around, the COVID funds.
So we should be finding out soon from Summers what it is.
Yeah.
Unless she denies it.
Well, she can't deny it, she got it all in
I've already
her hand right
Hey,
there.
who that was?
I'd say you don't think so. That's what I'm saying.
You ain't the only one here. You can deny all you want, but if your signature's on it.
He's wanting you to send it down to Pete because Pete can't see either.
They got proof where they sent the money,
Yeah,
you're caught red-handed.
Yeah.
and I'd say that's where we're at.
So,
You know how well these streets could look and everything else?
when I talked to
$20,000.
Chris Feeney at the Northeast Missouri Regional Planning Office, I think she honestly thought that we got a grant and didn't know that we got COVID money. Teresa.
Well, and like they also told you
Because-
that she didn't read the document, she didn't even read over it, she just handed everything over to them and had them
All she
file
did
it.
was sign. She may have honestly thought we applied for a grant.
But yeah,
Cause she's been very, very adamant that we didn't get COVID money. And I
Well, it
said,
don't matter
even
what
if she
money.
got a grant for the town, she still has to show her that money was
Yeah.
spent.
yeah,
Right.
it's like regardless of
COVID, it wasn't
what
money
it
spent.
was,
No.
it was for
Well,
the
that COVID, you gotta know where
town.
every
You would have
dime
thought it would have
went.
been used for something.
Even if it went into an account, they gotta show that, hey, this went into this account, this was spent on this.
Because
And we still have the baseball field money, even though she says there was only $200 and some. It's like, didn't a lot of people donate to that?
Yeah, what was the total on that donation?
$218
No, I mean,
is what she says it was.
Thought there was a lot more before.
I thought it was on there too.
Yeah, there's
I've
been
heard
other
that
people come
somebody
to us and
donated
called.
3,000, and I heard 5,000, but.
There's been people that has called us and said it was a lot more than that, but they wouldn't disclose how much they donated.
Can we get a list of people that donated?
No.
I can ask in the group
Supposed to
and
be
say,
documented
if
somewhere.
you donated to the baseball fund, you can either message me or
Yeah,
comment
you're
or,
anonymous or whatever.
yeah.
Well, and the people that donated the lights and old bleachers, they're wanting to know where all that stuff's at now.
We need something.
Because it was picked up, but,
It never made it to Gorin.
and one guy swears that the bleachers were picked up, and he said if they're not there, where are they at? Because if they're not gonna be used by us, he would like to donate it to other towns or other schools that doesn't have the funds to
Get
do.
on that.
I'd be more than happy to, I mean, if, but let's find out where it is and then find out, you know, actually,
Got him up down to City Hall for the boxing match.
right?
Might need more.
I do know somebody donated a piano. There's a piano in City Hall. In the garage.
The
the
piano or the
garage.
organ from the church?
No, it's been in there for like a year.
But as far as the baseball field goes, I visiting with her, you know, that's where we ought to get a petition. If everybody wants the baseball field put back in, then great, let's do it. If not, let's find something to do with the city property. Besides,
Or the park.
Anybody wants the ballpark down there.
Well, are there enough people to even use the baseball field that would?
A lot of money into the town, actually.
well,
They
and
have softball tournaments, everything.
A lot of midnight.
yeah, and the White
The
County
Mennonites
wanting
won't
us to
come
get
back.
There, maybe some of us would like something to do.
The problem was it flooded.
Oh, as,
Oh, yeah.
as long as we got a wife like him, Pete, don't worry about Ron, he's always got something to do, damn it. We'll always keep Roscoe something to do.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like
that was
it is.
kind of my thing, if it's gonna bring in money, you know, let's put it together and use it.
Okay, so yes, we would like to file something with the
Yeah.
Attorney General's office.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
You think maybe we ought to wait until we get something from the city? Because we're shooting blanks, we don't have no idea. I know we're not getting what
If
should
there's
be,
nothing to
but-
hide, why couldn't we have had a meeting?
Exactly.
That she said we were
That's
gonna have
what
a
we're
meeting and
filing with
didn't.
the Attorney General's office, is that they didn't respond to the city.
I think we'll wait till after the
Because-
meeting and see if we can get anything accomplished there before.
You think they're gonna actually have one?
I can't.
Can they actually not have one?
Well, they haven't.
Well, they haven't
I know, but
for years, so.
somebody posted that I was on the schedule for the March, February.
Well, that's
meeting.
because we're hoping we can get Andrea and Jamie to actually have a meeting. Because if we can
Does
get,
someone have the key to this city hall?
no, but if we can get Andrea, Jamie, and Donnie on city property together, you have 3/4 of the board members, and you can have a meeting, whether she shows up or not. As long as they're on city property, they don't have to be in the building, if they can sit in a car outside.
In order to have an open to the public meeting to be in line with the sunshine law, you're gonna wanna post an agenda at the place at least 24 hours,
It's been-
business day hours ahead of time.
I posted it on the page, I put it on the building 6 times, she keeps stripping it down.
Go down there with a paint can and spray paint it on the window.
That's defilement of city
No, it
property.
ain't. If you use
Have
regular
like
spray
big yard
paint,
sale
you can
signs
take
so
a
we
razor
put it
blade
out
and
there.
scrape it off.
You do
easily.
that, I'm
I
not
can't
going to
write.
jail.
I can't write.
You do that, I'm not going to jail.
Well, and when all this started, did she not say that we were not
Well, I
having
don't
any
care.
meeting?
Yes,
We can't-
she told Ron,
And how many days ago was that?
it's been past
That's how we
the
do
time.
windows when we paint houses.
Cause she kept saying that we're gonna have a meeting, we're gonna have a meeting, she'll post the paper in the window at City Hall. And Frank said they were gonna have a meeting,
Well, Frank said it had to be the 3rd Wednesday,
Mhm.
so 21st it is.
and they had to give a 10-day notice, correct? Which did not. But
That was
it
by
has
her
been-
rules, that it had to be a 10-day notice, so there we go. Posted it on last Monday.
And we did post that
I know,
there's a
it's a
meeting
24-hour notice
Wednesday.
by law. She says it has to be on the 3rd Wednesday, and she says it has to be 10-day notice. We know, that's not the law.
I don't know.
Can be whenever they want in 24-hour notice, we know. We're trying to play by her rules for the moment.
Yeah.
But I have.
We want her to show up.
I have contacted Andrea and Jamie, and they agreed to show up at a meeting. But that was a little over a week ago, so who's to say that they'll show up now?
So,
You
I'm
will
sure
be
they'll
here
watch
Wednesday
this.
night, though, right?
Show up,
Echo?
guys.
Echo, you will be here Wednesday?
Maybe.
What's Wednesday?
The 21st. Hopefully a board meeting.
I have to go to the bathroom.
She says, I will post on the window when February board meeting is. And she gave a list of her board.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
Is there a date on there?
I know. And Glenn Davis doesn't exist.
Ron's still friends with her on Facebook, so we
January
screenshot and.
31st.
When?
31st,
January 31st.
That was January 31st.
Yes, when she replied that
Weeks
to.
ago. So, does anybody have anything else?
That's 17 days past when she said it would be.
She
No,
said
she said
February.
February board meeting.
That's when she said that she was
It's
gonna
being
post it.
February, no date.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else?
Who are the board members that you say is?
Oh, the last sitting board is Donnie, Andrea Davis, Frank Nichols, and Jamie Scott.
Nicholson.
Or Nicholson, sorry,
Yeah, we
Nicholson.
know, we got them. That's the
not
one
what she told me
person,
to-
right.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
who the one person was.
Yeah.
One person doesn't exist, nobody
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
who they are.
So what are the next steps?
I don't even.
Contact the Attorney General and get the records from the bank.
Okay, I don't know if you can get them from the bank.
So,
That sunshine request is good for the city.
or,
You know, if
Yeah.
you're gonna,
well,
any
I can
kind of
try.
document request
Yeah.
is,
So,
I don't know that the bank has to comply.
yeah, well, we'll try. And maybe he can, since he's actually a board member.
Well, I'm down at the courthouse as a board member, so,
Yep, that makes you
Well, if you
actually,
take that
And
paper
Mr.
saying that you're a
Summers.
board member from the courthouse,
yeah.
that's more legal than what they've got.
yeah,
So you should.
And
be able to
Mr.
use it.
Summers, they're supposed to give us all
give
this
us an
stuff,
answer, and I'm still waiting on a reply from the Department of Revenue on gas tax. Oh, and that's what else the Department of Revenue was, we were waiting on. I found out from the auditor's office, incurring a fine every day for $250 for non-compliance.
That the city of Gorin.
The city of Gorin, yes,
For
we are
what?
supposed, $250 a day.
For what?
For non-compliance, we are supposed to, after every meeting, turn in our minutes and our financial statement to the courthouse, and then annually to the state.
And when there's
We have been
not been a meeting.
non-compliant since 2021.
How long have we been accruing that?
Since 20.
Every day.
Every day since December 2021 at $250 a day.
So what
I
if
didn't
there's
do the
been
math,
no
you can
meetings?
feel free.
That's $60,000 or $70,000 a year.
Yes.
We can afford it, yeah.
Yeah, we've had this happen before, in 2019, and it was, close to $1 million, the fine, and they said just become compliant, give us your records, and we'll waive the fees, and.
But she did say that if she does this audit with this reoccurring fee every day, if we comply to the audit and they find out that we're broke, then they'll waive the fee, and
Yeah.
that's when they'll
The
give us a
audit
chance
should
to
take care
figure it
of
out.
that.
But she said after the second chance, that if it ever happens again, that fee will have to be paid.
From what?
Yeah, I don't know from what. Stay compliant. Stay compliant. It's really easy. Take the minutes to the courthouse and your financials.
But how do you do that when there's no meeting?
Right. So,
So we can't be non-compliant because we didn't have a meeting to
so,
Well,
have minutes on.
we meet down there on Wednesday outdoors. Somebody keep the minutes.
yes, somebody keep the minutes, turn them into the courthouse, just, it's real easy.
So,
You just take them to the records office. Kathy in there, she's real nice. She got the minutes from the Gorin meetings going clear back to like the 1920s. Feel like doing some reading? There's some interesting stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
Learned how to annex you back in. It's in the minute. It's in the minutes.
I'll be all right.
You don't want into this show?
Well, I'm here right now.
Back then, it only cost like $40. I don't know what it's going to cost now, but it was real cheap then.
It's more than 10, I'm out.
Bill will pay it for you.
It probably won't cost anything because they want more.
I'll give you a couple dollars.
Yeah.
I need
Well, it was to file the paperwork. Yeah, it was filing fees. Courthouse, yeah. So,
Of course.
I think that's all I forgot.
In the last meeting, when we paid to serve Teresa,
Oh,
it
yes.
was 30, not 50.
Yeah, it was $30 to have her
Yeah, so
served, not
write
50.
that down.
And I gave them their change back. They each got $10 back.
Did you write it down?
Yes, I wrote it down. I got a receipt and everything. I posted my receipt. You need Facebook.
I think that's what she wants to leave town. She doesn't know, leave town.
I don't need Facebook.
Then you can see all of this already.
I'd be dead if I had Facebook.
Everybody else has seen all of this.
Some other people
Well,
might be.
and what the Attorney General said is if she.
We're gonna welcome Doc to the digital age one of these days. Grandma's got like 15
Don't.
years on you or something like that, and you know,
Don't believe her.
she can run a
She's got
computer.
a house there in
He got more than 15 years on him. I got kids older than he is.
See? Give him
Oh,
computer
right.
lessons.
How old your oldest?
Yeah, and see part of the house
63.
out here.
64.
Wow.
I should be 64, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong. It's part of that.
I'm 59, so.
See?
Yeah. See, witches don't age.
If you, oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I was gonna say, if you hadn't started out so young, you're like maybe 12 or 13 like they
Oh,
did
no,
back then.
I was out of high school.
I was trying to make you feel young.
Are you guys gonna meet again?
We still meet Wednesday.
Well, we're meeting Wednesday. If you wanna have another community meeting in 2 weeks to go over all this,
Be great.
Because I'm almost done.
okay,
but everything.
so, see you in 2 weeks, guys.
No, we're gonna see Wednesday.
Well, after that, here in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See you here in 2 weeks.
Another wasted Saturday afternoon.
Does anybody in the car have a key to the city hall?
I think she is the only one with a key to City Hall. Frank might, but,
Oh, I'm sure Frank does.
has anybody actually had contact with Frank?
Her son does, I know for a fact, I've seen him go down there and open it up.
Okay, anybody talk to Jonathan Rory?
No.
Who's that?
Her son. The guy that drives the plow truck smoking pot.
Interesting
With no plates on it?
With no plates on it, yes.
You didn't hear that echo.
Run your clock home?
As long as he stays in the city limits, it's okay, but if he takes it out of the city limits, it's
Yeah, but he's not gonna have it on the highway.
See you guys.
But you can't grow 20-some plants in your house and be legal.
You can't drive.
It's not.
Can't
What?
grow 20-some plants in your house. I think it's 6.
Is it per person?
You definitely can't drive and smoke it either.
Good thing I got one more house.
Do you know how many calls I have gotten since I started my Facebook group that have said, is Crackhead Katie really a board member?
Yeah.
Crackhead Katie.
Yep, that's what they call her, is crackhead Kate.
Yeah, you make that face, but everybody,
Everybody knows Katie.
everybody.
See, I'm not up in the age, I
Y'all
guess.
need to.
I don't know.
Well, that's why our school bus smells like pot.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with the school bus?
Because they have 3 children that ride the bus.
Oh. Are we over the Gorin meeting and starting in on?
No,
Right.
I'm just,
Let me know when this-
throw that out
I
there.
think it's time for me to go.
The park
Yes,
manager.
I think we're done with the meeting.
Okay,
Echo,
I'm
I
gonna,
wanna be the first one to, say thank you very much for coming. I don't know if it's gonna do any good or, you know, what's gonna happen.
Well, we have to do something, or we're gonna wind up a spot in the road like Rainbow,
Yeah.
or Dumas, or somewhere that eventually it's just, I don't know what's gonna happen, but you can't run a city like this, not even a small city.
well, thank you for having me. Okay, so it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna shut it
I
down.
was city clerk for years, and we didn't do it this way.
Well, that's why I was asking you the last time, you know.
Well, I was just like, if we were Memphis,